How's everybody doing? Okay, so I'll zoom out in a second here and show you the maquette model more. I just want to point out a couple of ideas in the beginning of the process of this design that I had in mind, and then I'm changing. You know how it is, everything keeps changing as we keep thinking it through. But so the idea is the new module where the original Glover Road is will be here. It'll be 10 feet, and then I'll have the yard, the west side of the shops. This is a prototypical track plan. These 6 tracks here, and even these 2 are as well, except these ones curve off to what I initially wanted to have into the classification yard, just part of it. I just wanted to model part of it, and then I was going to block this a little bit with the Queensboro Bridge going over this like that. I thought that might be a nice kind of way of compressing and doing that. But then I started to have my doubts because here is where the grain elevator would be, which I want, and now I can only model one end of it, which, you know, might be acceptable, but I didn't feel too good about that because now the cell tower is back here behind where you won't see it, and yeah, and then it forces me to have a short lead here to service it without having to add a cassette where the window is, which I don't want to block, right? So decisions, right? Now what I did was I tossed that aside and then I drew this up. I'll leave a link to the track plan software. It's free, by the way. You can do a limited amount of track, but you can do enough for a shelf layout if you want to try it out. I'll give you a link to it down below in the read more section. So here you can see I redrew the design, and I want to keep the yard because the focus of my modeling is on locomotives and the roster, right? Except now I've eliminated the classification yard, the compressed version of it. It's just too much. I don't want to be throwing switches. I only like to operate half an hour in a day or something and switch out a few cars. I'm not a big operator. I'm more of a modeler at heart. And that's okay. Like people that operate, that's fantastic, right? It's just another aspect of the hobby. But at the end of the day, I'm an artist first, then a model railroader, and I like to model. So I got to be honest about that if I'm going to think that through when I design, right? That's important. In fact, let me just add this right now. Lance Mindheim, as some of you may or may not know him, has a fantastic blog, and he does deserve some respect, even though some may disagree with him. But he's a great modeler, and he's got a lot of knowledge and experience and good wisdom when it comes to design, and I would encourage you to read some of his blog. I'll leave a link down below as well. So anyway, this was kind of, I felt better about this design because now I can have the grain elevator here, which simulates just the main with a siding. I can also build the parking lot. The intersection, which I want to model more prototypically with Glover Road right here. So I really like this idea because that was the initial impetus in this whole project to begin with, and I don't want to scrap this idea. I want to rebuild or add the other 3 bins to the grain elevator, like I think I mentioned before. And then the actual footprint to the cell tower is larger even than the footprint of the grain elevator, which I didn't know until I looked on Google Earth and started zooming in and studying the area. So yeah, that's kind of the idea right now as it stands, and I'll just zoom back and show you the maquette model now and how it might look on the model. If I can just move that. I don't know if I can get in here good enough to really show you, but let me just point out this first. Notice how I want curved backdrops here, see? I want curved in the corner here, and I also want curved here as well. I don't want any corners. Whoops, sorry Rapido, I knocked over one of your cars. I don't want any sharp corners. Like when I walk in to the room, I want curves. I want a smooth line. I don't want any interruptions to the viewer. And this will be up higher like this, so you'll walk into it like this, see? As you see this one, around this height. And so it's hard to visualize with the 2" to the foot model unless you have it live, but when it's live you can see it better for some reason. But anyway, so you can see as you walk in that the yard, you're going to see the locomotives parked down there, just like in one of the photos I'll share with you. And then you have this long lead here for coming out of the yard and to service a hidden, possibly a hidden staging track back here behind the backdrop here where Milner in Langley is. So we have the shops and then this imaginary jump to Langley, which is where I live, and this is, you know, what I like to model, more the rural than the urban. But and then here I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here. However, this gives me the option to add a cassette here. Or something here, right? But I do need a bit of a lead here to service this grain elevator. I want to do that at least prototypically anyway, as close as I can. And it's fairly scale, except this siding's not as long, but the prototypical one's longer. Anyway, so you get the idea, right? And then this here, the module B, as I mentioned, I'll be able to model Glover Road a little more to scale as well, about the same length. So I'm not going to lose Glover Road, like the essence of it. Like this will be gone. This building will be reused because it was based on a shop building here. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I just want to share with you the power of the maquette model, because as we visualize things in the theater of our mind, it can be quite deceiving when it comes to space and composition, and the 2" to the foot maquette model really helps in that area when we want to visualize and make all the changes before we begin to create a cut list and invest in wood and building materials and stuff, right? That's the power of the maquette model. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, and I may have another part final to follow this, but in the meantime I'll be uploading other features as well, okay? I hope you have a great day.